Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Sebring International Raceway. Mustang Challenge Racing kicking us today, brought to you by Ford. Built Ford proud. In the Ford Global Broadcast Centre, I'm John Hindhaugh. Alongside me to my right is Joey Hand. He'll be racing in the Big Show, the 73rd running of the Mobil 112 Hours of Sebring. That's the big race tomorrow, but we're kicking off our Fast Friday action with another 45 minutes of heavy-duty, heavy-hitting V8 action with the Ford Mustang Dark Horse Challenge. This is the home of sports car racing, I suppose you would call it, in the United States, right in the middle of Florida, and it's an absolute classic circuit. 3 3/4 miles. You know you've got history when you're talking names, not numbers. Fangio Chicane, Gurney Bend, Jean de Bihan, and Le Mans Corners, and of course the Ullman Straight. We all owe so much to that family for bringing us this race down through the years. Action areas, super quick, insanely quick through turn 1, very bumpy, heavy braking at turn 7. Get the rhythm right through turns 11, 10, 11 and 12, and then again overtaking maneuvers for the brave if you are down into 17. Second race of the weekend as the cars are rolling out of the pit lane. And the race yesterday kept us on our toes. Robert Noecker on pole position in the white and blue number 13 car. Got a good start at the drop of the green, threw into one slightly defensively and had a little bit of a challenge from behind, but weathered that storm. And then we had the Chelsea Denova spin, the current drift champion, Formula Drift champion, put all his skills together there to hold that one off the wall. Issues for the number 30 Scott Thompson car. What a shame for the LMP machine as that car ground to a halt. And then drama in the Dark Horse Legends, the runaway leader. The Diaz car, the number 15, with an engine issue. He was really smart, got off the racing line and didn't ruin everybody else's race. So it was Alex Bashura in the 33, the olive car. How appropriate is that on the old Army airfield that is Hendricks field here. Robert Noecker was in a class of his own, and wins for Robert Noecker Racing, getting the season off to a great start. We were very impressed, Joey Hand, at Robert Noecker yesterday, and if he's going to be beaten today, once again, it's going to have to be right off the start that the challenges come.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it yesterday. If you let that guy get out in front, he was pretty flawless. You know, one of the things I noticed is just using a lot of the racetrack more than most, and really keeping the car straight and saving tires, it looked like. So, yeah, I mean, for me, I'm knowing what we saw yesterday, I'm going after him pretty early on the start. Yeah. You got to go for it. And it's a great thing about Sebring is there's so many opportunities to pass, especially in the first few corners.
Two different classes here, as we have mentioned. The cars with the red accoutrement, wing mirrors, door mirrors, should I say, etc. That is the Dark Horse class and the Dark Horse Legends for drivers here a little bit more experienced of life. Here's how they line up on the Ford Performance starting grid. Robert Noecker and Devin Anderson, as they were yesterday, on pole position. Marcus Vento in third spot for Macumbi Macalia Racing, with Tech Sports Alfonso Diaz in third. He's the best of the Legends drivers. He's got behind him Christian Pericarpi in the number 37, and then Corbin Collins for Macumbi Macalia Racing in the 20. Top 10 made up of Alex Bashura, winner in their Legends yesterday, Sandy Sotelo, Colin Harrison, Chelsea Denova, after that brilliant recovery drive yesterday. Watch out for Zach Lee outside the top 10 in 11th place, inside of row 6 in the all-silver number 48 car. He charged through the field yesterday, as did Paolo Salvatore. Didn't get the result that he would have liked. Tate Pritz, Stephen Weider, Tom Tate is in the pit lane for Competition Motors and does not start from P15 as he should do. Doug Patterson, Chip Van Verst, Scott Thompson in that number 30 car will be looking for better luck yesterday. Drew Neubart, Nick Smithers and Joseph Dedrich Now, he had some problems yesterday, so I'll have to check to see if he's out. Yes, he is out there in the 63 Robert Neuicker racing cars. Lights are out in the fantastic Mustang Dark Horse street car, available at all good Ford Performance dealers around the world, but you'll have to be very nice to them if you want an allocation. Great piece of machining, fabulous bang for the buck, and available in right-hand drive in the UK, Australia, South Africa. That makes Joey laugh every time. I am going to keep saying it till somebody throws one my way for a real-world road test. 45 minutes on the clock, green flag in the air, second race of the weekend. Great stop by Neuicker from the inside, driver's left, and he had to defend yesterday. Watch the red, white and black number 22 cars. They go down to the first corner, and it's exactly, yes, it's almost like a replay, and it's Marcus Vento trying to come around the inside. Now, last time he swapped to the outside for turn number 3. Has he learned his lesson? Joey said he should have stuck where he was, and that's what he's done, and that's going to net him second position. Brilliant stuff again for the battle for second and third position. Absolutely tremendous stuff. Vento then moves into second in that white and blue car. He was just a little more aggressive in the Valvoline machine, Joey, than he was yesterday, but that's not done with Devin Anderson coming back at him.
I like that move, but I mean, these guys, I got to be thinking, I'm not going to race each other right here at first. I'm going to try and go after the leader. If they dogfight too much right there, Neuicker's going to be gone again.
Down to turn 7, heavy braking area, that chrome silver, looks like liquid mercury. I swear if you walked up that car, you could put your hand into it and it would just disappear up to your elbow. It's for fantastic wrap on that car, that number 48, as we were mentioning, a little bit further down than Zachary Lee would like to be. Battles throughout the field on this first lap. Cunningham corner, side by side. That was Stephen Vager coming through the field in the number 10 car. And just to reiterate, Tom Tate has not started. That car is in the pit lane. Standard operational procedure. If you're watching on timing and scoring, the start is under review. Don't read too much into that. But at the front of the field, Robert Neuicker has already started to pull out a little bit of breathing space. Doesn't look much, 2 or 3 cars lengths. And Devin Anderson, I think, has gone back through into second position, has he not? He's still there in third, but he's under pressure from Alex Pachura. Little bit of a draft down the Ullman straight, Joey.
Oh, yeah, I mean, this is a big one. I mean, I think the big thing is getting that run off of 16 pays a lot all the way down the straightaway. So you want to set up, the draft is something, but the setup through 16 and on that backstretch is a big deal. Again, you see like some different lines here. You can run 2 wide through 17. It's all a bit of a preference. For sure, there's no difference in bumps. There's bumps everywhere there.
Now, Tom Tate has come out of the pit lane, but because he didn't take part on the formation lap, so obviously a problem there for the number 8 machine, he will have to do a drive-through in his first flying lap, so he's going to be well off the back of the field. He's just going through turn 9 and up towards Cunningham corner now, as the rest of the field are hoving in on him. Try and find out what the issue was. Joey Hand alongside me, John Hindorf in the Ford Performance Global Broadcast Centre. Le Mans winner with Ford in the GT Le Mans class in 2016. And these cars will be competing in 2 races at Le Mans in the Invitational on the Le Mans 24 Hours weekend this year. If you're interested in joining the fun, former orderly queue via the Ford Performance website. And the Mustang Challenge website has all the details. Joey's team, Gradient Racing, racing a GT3 car in the big show this weekend, and they've got a couple of challenge cars that I'm sure Andres would be happy to press into action. You maybe do a bit of mentoring as well for the
for sure.
For the right deal.
I mean, Le Mans is one of those places that you have to see, you have to go to. I mean, there's so many memories there. I mean, as a spectator, you know, there's a lot of stuff to see, but as a race car driver, it's amazing. You go down the straightaway, you see like little houses on the side. I always see this. There's this one house with ladies always gardening with their flowers out the back at the first chicane. It's pretty wild. It's something that you have to do if you can do it.
So Tom Tate is out, but not up to speed in the number 8 competition motors car. In fact, that's very considerate driving. He stayed well to drivers right down the Ullman straight. So whatever was ailing that competition motors cars, I'm not sure he's got that sorted out. A little bit of an aerodynamic disadvantage for the number 18, Marcus Vento, McCauley Racing, the leading edge of the bonnet, the hood of that car just flapping in the high-speed areas of the circuit. No issues for Robert Noack. Crosses the line with 1.3 seconds. That doesn't sound a lot, but that is impressive after just 2 racing laps. The gap's beginning to show now. Nice little battle pack behind Alfonso Diaz, who is now second position in the DHL category. Dark Horse Legends, because up the road by a couple of seconds is the 33 Alex Bashira. But Alfonso will just want to get through this race, I think, and get some points, Joey, after his frustration and disappointment yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I saw in the start there, it looks like he missed a shift and he lost some spots, but he's got one back, and he's actually got some pretty good pace going here. He's going forward for sure.
Pericarpi's car, the LAP machine. Oh, that's not looking good going through turn number 7. That's the 4th place car. And Christian Pericarpi now, I'm not reading too much. I was about to say I'm not reading too much at the moment, because sometimes you maybe get a little bit of overfill.
Some residual maybe. Yeah. But I mean, definitely don't.
Oh, big off. That is,
big one.
that's going to bring out the safety car, Chip van Verst. Well, we say built Ford proud and built Ford tough as well, because that car has driven away. It was airborne for a moment. The right rear is deranged, but Chip van Verst with no rear wing now on that Mustang. I think the rear window's gone as well, but incredibly, that 68 car for Creative Autosport has driven away, just got off onto the grey, coming through turn 7 and 8, and then it was left, right, left. I've got it, I don't got it, and bang.
That was a big hit.
Fortunately, just as he was going through 8, to driver's left there, he hit the wall backwards, but there is some tyres there, and I think that might have dissipated some of the energy. But my goodness, I didn't expect to see that car drive away, Joey.
I didn't either, and I mean, the thing we're looking at here now is it's definitely breaking some parts off here, so we might get some debris on the track that could cause a yellow. But I mean, that was a big hit to be driving around the racetrack still. Pretty impressive. That's an interesting place to go. I mean, the contact between him and the 98, you don't normally see cars go left out of there. But luckily, yeah, he backed into a spot where there were some tires.
I should say, I don't think Tate Pritt was in any way responsible for that. It looked like Chip had lost the car. In the old racing adage is he got behind on the steering, and for a moment he would have thought he got it. So down into turn 7, it's all fine, side by side. He gets into the grey and then runs into the dirt. Now that normally is okay, but he hooks the curb coming back on the back of the curb, the back edge of the curb. And I bet you in that car for a moment he thought, I've got this.
I got it. I don't got it.
He didn't get it, yeah.
The old button hook. That's, you know, like you said, you get behind and it loads up one of the rear sidewalls, and that's what it did. It just loaded up on the right rear and shot him left.
So Van Verst into the pit lane. We stay green flag racing. Robert Noack will be delighted about that. Just checking to see if there's any damage on the side. Well, there's a nice donut on the rear edge of the driver's door on the left-hand side of that number 98 Tate Pritt car. And Automatic Racing will have to get a little polish on that one, but not much. Maybe a tiny little dent. I reckon that'll pull out.
Still one of my favorite liveries out there right there.
The white with the galloping Mustang.
You know I love it. It's the America.
Red, white, and blue. Wimbledon white with the Ford Racing stripes on it. I think Chip's going to go behind the wall. Yes, he is. He's. I'll say this again, though. That was a big hit. And for that car to still be able to drive, and that back axle, all the wheels looked straight. Tom Tate back into the pit lane as well. Yeah, bodywork, a rear wing, a rear windscreen on that car. Yeah, fine. These are all parts, by the way, and I should say Ford Performance have been encouraging all the drivers and teams to build a relationship with their local Ford dealer. Why? Because obviously they're stock racing car parts. Well, there is a huge handbook that is given to every team and every driver from Ford Performance that gives the part numbers of the standard bits of the car that you can go to your Ford dealer and just order. I think that's a brilliant initiative, and most of those crash parts that we're talking about, you can go to your Ford dealer and get, and obviously things like windscreen, rear spoiler. So that's brilliant. Good battle for second here as well.
Yeah, it looks like Anderson's got by there, and he might. I mean, he looks like he's got the pace. I mean, like I said, the time for waiting was it was over. He's got to go and see if he can catch the leader, Noaker.
These two cannot afford to be slowing each other up. So the 22, Devin Anderson, back to second place where he started. And we've also got Christian Pericarpi, Lewis's dad, sorry, Christian Pericarpi out of fourth position. He's pulled off to the side of the circuit. Now, got some penalties. We always look at the start, and a penalty for lining up on the wrong side of the grid, coming the way of Tech Sports Colin Harrison in the number 21 Mustang Dark Horse. That is a costly mistake at the start of the race. Being in the right place and staying in line until the stripe is an absolute IMSA must do. Joyce literally just come from the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship driver meet. Their black and orange car, 4 rows back, was and I know why he's done that, because Tom Tate wasn't in his grid position. The 8 car should have been where he is, and there's a break as well there before the line for Sandy Satulo that might be looking into. Oh yeah, and he's down the inside of Satulo.
And that's where Diaz, it looked like missed a shift and kind of messed up that whole outside lane. They all checked up and it all got weird, and cars had to pull out of line. For sure, in IMSA, prior to the start-finish line, you can't get out of your column. You can't do any passing, nothing.
And it's tough, Joey, isn't it? Because if somebody does make a mistake off the start, mistimes it, or has a car issue, maybe gets a little bump from somebody else and has to come off the throttle, and you're behind them, your natural instinct is to avoid them and keep your foot in.
Yeah, and they're going to see that. They'll look at that and say, okay, that's okay. But what I saw there is the move was done before they checked up in line. So I think that's what IMSA sees. But the difference is, for everybody, that on the main start, you cannot pull out of line before you cross the start-finish line. That when you're on a restart, when we see a restart, then you go when the green flag's thrown, you can start passing. So the restart zone for this racetrack this week is the whole of turn 17. So yesterday we saw one restart and we said, where's he going to go, what point? That's why we were talking about that. Once the leader goes, you can go. You can't pass until they call green flag. So it's really important to have your guys on pit lane right on top of calling that green flag. And a lot of guys, like a couple of my team owners I've driven for, they like to be a little early on calling the green. They like to anticipate that green flag, give you a head start.
And the thing is, and you say that, and people go, oh, hang on, surely it's down to the driver to look to the start to stand at the green flag, to the edges of the track, to the flag stands. It's not actually that easy to see out of a race car nowadays. You're sitting low down in the car, you've got a full face helmet on, you're effectively looking out of a letterbox. Around goes, and this is another little spin here. We had one yesterday for the 84 car as well. And Paolo Salvatore recovers, gets back onto the track, and now starts the recovery. That was at Cunningham Corner, turn 10. Lovely, lovely livery on that. So did he jump or was he pushed? Oh, he jumped. Just missed his braking point there.
Yeah, just overshot. But yeah, going back to that scene out of the car on the green flags, you know, on the restarts, a lot of times it's not even that you can't see, it's that you might be, if you're in 10th place, you might be entering turn 17.
Yeah. That was a nice bit of avoidance there as well down the field. Colin Harrison has rejoined after his drive-through for the start infringement. He's down in 12th position overall. That's 8th in Dark Horse. Just keeping an eye on that battle now between Alex Bashura and Alfonso Diaz. The Tech Sport number 15 car, the blue-fronted car, is gaining on the dark olive green Alex Bashura car. I'll keep an eye on that as we watch Salvatore, Paolo Salvatore, Fattore Racing, slightly more dusty than he was earlier on. Knowing, and now 3.2 seconds to the good the number 13 car going through turn 9 up towards Cunningham Corner. Second now, Anderson has pulled out a couple of seconds as well. This is a very nice fast Friday drive for our leader. He's loving this at the moment. Now he's just got to get his rhythm and keep in his rhythm.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the difference is he's not sliding the car at all. The guys behind him are pushing very, very hard, as you have to try and hang on. But, I mean, if this came down, if we get a yellow and a restart, clearly No Acres tires are going to be in better shape than Anderson. But, I mean, it's not over. I mean, he's keeping it close here.
So let's look back down the field and see some of the gaps. Noega to Anderson, Anderson to Vento, Vento to Bashira. Here comes Bashira, and that 7/10 of a second has disappeared. Diaz is right there now in that blue fronted car. The number 18, the Valvoline. What a classic livery that is for Vento. And Vento's off the pace. Vento's off the pace in third position. And he's going to lose third and fourth. Has he got a puncture?
I think he's
flat tyre.
Left front flat, I think. Yep.
Oh my goodness. Now
that's going to come.
Oh, now he's got to get into the pit. It's going to be hard to make the right-hand turn, and that's the edge of the tyre that they are leaning on. Now that he could have easily cut that by going off the track and coming back on the inside corner. Going to be so careful with that. He's made the pit lane. Actually done a pretty good job there. But he's dropped out of a podium position. He will be absolutely incandescent with rage.
We talked about it yesterday a little bit, you know, the inside these curbs. These curbs here at Sebring are, you know, they're kind of like a gator. We call it like gator teeth on the back.
So you got to be a little Florida.
Yeah, for sure. You got to be careful. You hook it too much on the inside, and you can get the inside of the sidewall and hurt the tire for sure. But
so battling for now third position on the overall, and the leading Dark Horse Legends going down to turn 7. Here comes Diaz. He swings right, drops back into line behind the leader at the moment.
I like what he's doing, filling the mirrors. You want to fill the mirrors, you know, like.
Does that work?
I mean, I think it works. Depends on who you're racing. I mean, you know, if you do it to some guys, if you do it too far away, some guys will be like, that's a joke. But when you do it right up there and you've caught somebody like that, it definitely, if I look inside, it just takes me off my apex a little bit.
For performance team update for our second race. Alex Bachira for Spark Racing. He's sitting pretty at the moment at the head of the field, but in Legends, but struggling to hold on to that at the moment with the charging Alfonso Diaz. Taking a look as well at a couple of other drivers. We'll update that in just a few moments' time. Mistake for Diaz, drops away. Too much going on the track. LAP Motorsports, well, bad news for Scott Thompson in the number 30 car. He was going well and has slowed down just a little bit in the 37. Christian Pericarpi, he's off at the side of the road, so I'm afraid not good news for LAP. Scott still circulating in that beautiful blue-green colour. What a wrap that is. It is so evocative of 70s Mustangs, though. That is, I said this yesterday, that is almost exactly the colour that I had my 1970 Mustang that I owned for all of, I think it was 11 days.
I mean, still a standout for me. I love that color too, but those racing stripes are what stand out for me.
Got it. I think it's almost should be mandatory on every Mustang. So down at the front of the field for the Legends category, still Bashira and Diaz fighting it out. Diaz with a little mistake last time around through 14, 15 and 16. Oh, and he's sliding the car out. He's trying too hard.
He's working hard.
Yeah.
He's working real hard.
We hear people talking about over-driving the car, Joey. Is that what we're seeing there from Diaz?
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, I mean, he's also made a lot of time doing it, you know? So, I mean, he's over-driving it, but to the point of making it up, right? So, I mean, he's got to be a little careful. I mean, these tires are pretty strong, for sure. But, yeah, I mean, he's just getting close. If he calmed down just a little bit and got right up on there and maybe do a couple of those juke moves and get in the mirrors again, might be able to get a mistake.
I think a lot of people don't understand how much is going on behind the wheel. There's the technical effort of driving the car, so steering, braking, accelerating, shifting gears with an H pattern and three pedals on these cars. But at the same time that you're doing that, that's almost got to be second nature to you, Joey. And what we'd rather like to see from Alfonso at the moment is he kind of needs to work out where he's better than Alex or where Alex is worse than him. And he's got to do that whilst he's driving the car and racing the car as well. Another spin out on the circuit. And that was the number 88. And that was Chelsea Denofa, our Formula Drift champion. Once again, great car control. Still hasn't dented the car.
No, he's got it back going straight again. All good there. But yeah, you're right. I mean, there's a lot going on there. I think, what I'm always teaching my kids, or especially my son who's racing, is the simple things. You gotta get the simple things sorted. They should not be in your head. And there he goes around there. Nothing, no harm, no foul. Kept the wheels turning.
Yeah.
Hardly cost any time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you got a lot going on in there. So the first thing to me is, if you're thinking about your shifting, you're in a little bit of trouble already, right?
Yeah.
Like that should be second nature, right?
Good point.
We need to be all these things that that don't totally matter. We want to be focused on lines. We want to focus on how deep we can brake. We want to focus on keeping the sidewall loaded up and not sliding the tire. And those things are the advanced stuff that you want to be thinking about to go super quick. So if you're thinking about matching revs and the heel and toe and all that technique, you're definitely not going to be able to spend as much energy on placing the car in the right place. So I think, somebody who has, that's what we always talk about, reps, right? Like it's not just in racing. My daughter plays softball. We're talking about reps, because we want to prepare. We want to prepare before we get to the race, so that when we get to the race, it comes easy.
You got to name check your daughter and your son, by the way, because we're talking about them, daughter and son, and you've still not mentioned their names.
Oh, my son Chase Hand,
right?
Races go-karts, and he's, I always say a wannabe race car driver. He wants to drive race cars. He's a pro kart racer, does some late model racing, and hopefully, we can find something to do in sports cars. It'd be cool for us to, at some point, drive together.
That'd be very cool.
In a race, that'd be awesome. And then my daughter Kaylee, who's a softball player, a lefty pitcher, which is a big deal in softball. Hoping she's hoping to do college and get a scholarship, stuff like that. So we talk a lot at our house about reps, right, and preparation. And you can definitely see when somebody's more prepared showing up to a racetrack. You just let the preparation do its thing when you get in the race.
It's the first round of Formula One this weekend. Ford coming into Formula One next year with Red Bull for providing the power units for the Milton Keynes based team, just about 40 minutes from where I'm based in the UK, right in the middle of the carbon fibre triangle. And it always amazes me when you watch Formula One. There's so much going on. Look, I know it's paddle shift. It looks like they're just playing a game, but they've been thrown around. They're getting 2, 3, 4 G, and that the top drivers, and they're all top drivers in Formula One, whether at the front or the back of the field. There's no bad drivers there. They still have mental capacity left. When you think of a Schumacher or a Senna or a Hamilton or a Verstappen, they still have mental capacity left to be thinking, and you hear it on the radio, Sainz is the best. He's reading the race. He's almost commentating on the race as he's going around. Okay, I think we should go along here. I've just seen so-and-so come into the pits early on the big screen. I'm sorry, on the big screen. Where's he getting that from when he's doing 220 miles an hour? But that's what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
That's about feeling comfortable with what you're doing, and the driving of the car is actually happening. I'm not going to say automatically because that's wrong, but it's second nature, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, they say it's in the subconscious. You're driving. Senna talked about a lot. He was driving one corner ahead, and people thought, that's kind of weird. But now we talk a lot about those kind of things, about programming and visualization and preparing prior to the race. And it doesn't always have to be in the race car. We can do a lot of stuff outside the race car, thinking about what we're doing. Nowadays we have a lot of simulation we can do. I spend a lot of time in the simulator helping people and preparing our cars and our setups and all that. The one thing I'm noticing while we've been talking is the gap is tightening up.
Yeah. So has Robert knowing it just burned his Michelin tyres a little bit too much. Anderson now has pulled away. Devin Anderson has pulled away just a wee bit. And the last lap, well, actually that was a slow lap last time around, Joey, for the leader.
Yeah,
2
it's
seconds
interesting.
off.
It was a 1.3 second gain for Anderson.
So let's keep an eye on Bashura as well, in third place, leading Dark Horse by now a second from Diaz, Alfonso Diaz. So these cars, Mustang Dark Horse R, we're looking at Mustang Challenge. There's a Mustang Cup as well, which uses exactly the same car, but is aimed at people who maybe are coming out of track days. What are the similarities, what are the differences between these racing cars to the Dark Horse R that I could walk into my Blue Oval Ford dealer and buy in the UK?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of similarities. I mean, there's also a lot of differences. I mean, I've spent a lot of time in the Dark Horse R street car giving rides. I do a lot of rides at, you're not giving me a ride this time. I'm giving other people a ride. But yeah, I mean, we do a lot of, at the F1 races, they have a lot of us Ford factory guys go and give rides, VIP rides. And so you get to get a feel for what these guys are doing, because we're using the same transmission, you know, all the basic same stuff. And so I've got a feel for the manual transmission, which you don't get to drive a lot anymore. Some of the I've used the rev matching in here. So
I've heard that's very, very
good. It works really
indeed.
good. I mean, I will say I'm not probably the best right foot braker. I've had to do it in my life, but in my era, I've been able to left foot brake almost everything I've driven.
Interesting.
So I pride myself on shifting without a clutch, to be honest. So when you have to use a clutch,
even on a 3-pedal car.
Yeah, but these, you know, with these cars, you have to use a clutch, and so you need to use your right foot to brake, so you can use your left to dip the clutch. And yeah, I mean, so that's similar to this. And then, you know, basically we have a better we have a racing tire, we have a little bit better brakes, and things like that. So it's not a huge difference from the street car that you can go buy at your dealership, and for sure not in the feel department, right? So like the way the car is balanced, so when we turn in these corners, you see these cars turn to the corner. One thing I always like about Mustangs that people always ask about is that, you know, the car turns really good from off the brake to the center of the corner, and then also you always have that power at your foot. I mean, that's always something that people love. So yeah, I mean, once you get beyond this, you know, through Mustang Challenge, and you go to GT4 and GT3 then have a very similar, for sure, the cockpit. Like, we have a similar pedal box. GT4, you have a clutch pedal, but it's paddle shift. You don't need to use a clutch pedal. GT3 cars, like we're racing this weekend in the 12 hours, they don't even have a clutch pedal down there. We use an E-clutch.
Really? That rear spoiler that we've got on the race cars, that's exactly the same as the street car. The street car has a Torsen limited slip differential. You get Magna-Ride active suspension as standard on the Dark Horse street car. And of course, you get the Coyote V8 engine, which is exactly the same in this race car. Now, a little bit of a battle going on for 6th and 7th. The Silver 48 is the third place Legends driver, and that's Zach Lee. And behind him, in the, again, mostly white with the red swooshes on it. That's another great livery. Really using the lines down the side of the Mustang and that kicked up rear arch. So behind him, that's the number 7 of Sandy Satulo.
I really haven't seen a livery I don't like in this field so
far.
Well,
the plainest one is Zach Lee.
Yeah,
but, you know, you can't call a liquid silver or a chrome silver, you can't call that plain, can you?
Yeah, no, you can't.
I keep expecting it to sort of disappear. It's almost as if it's a stealth livery and you're going to see straight through it at times. In fact, if it wasn't for the blue race numbers designating the fact he's a Legends driver, there's parts of the track where it's beautifully reflecting the surface and the blue and white curbs here at Sebring, where you're just looking at it and it's like looking at the road through the car. I'd like to know who did that wrap for him, because
that's got to be a tough one. That's got to be a tough one.
These guys to hide on that,
the guys that do the wraps, I'm very impressed with. We were talking about yesterday with our car. our Gradient 66 car, we it's a matte silver.
Yeah.
And those are very hard to put on, I guess, because they're the wrap's a little stiffer. But you know, I spent a lot of time in these NASCAR shops, and these guys, they put the wrap, that whole one side of the car is one piece, and so they wrap it around all these edges, and it's pretty impressive. I would say that is an art.
Of course it is on a cup car, because there's no doors to worry about.
Right.
It's a little bit of a spin out on the circuit and facing the wrong direction, and this is Stephen Vager. And that's not a good place to be. Actually, the sight lines there, not too bad. He's just...
Man, he was moving up, too.
Yeah, he was. He's turned 15.
He had a tough one yesterday. He was going forward. He was up in the mix and then had an issue, I think, on the last lap.
I think this... I remember him at the Indianapolis final rounds last year, and he said he was coming back. So this is potentially only his 4th race in this car. And he may have done a little bit of off-season testing, maybe done some of the track days with the cars, because you can't take them away yourself, of course. Now, is everything all right? I don't think it is.
That's interesting.
15 minutes to go. No, he's found a gear, and he has fire in the V8, and Stephen pulls away. Good luck. Oh, nice driving, Stephen. Good luck over both mirrors there before he rejoined. Probably talking to the pits as well to make sure that they could help him out, looking at the tracker.
I was down talking with him yesterday after the race.
Good lad, isn't he?
Yeah, really good. And seeing what the issue was, and they, you know, what's cool about these guys, that, you know, they can spend time looking at data. They were looking at data, trying to get better, working on the shifts, all sorts of stuff, and definitely putting in effort. I mean, a lot of these guys were here almost all the way till, at least I saw them here before we started night practice last night. So they're all, you know, trying to get better, all trying to catch up to this 13 car.
So with 13.5 minutes to go, Robert Noaker has stabilised the gains being made by Devin Anderson in 2nd place. In fact, he squeaked out a little more. He was half a second quicker the previous time. Nice, half a second slower this time. Yeah, it's tense here, tense there. This is a really intense battle, Joey, that we've got here. They're not door mirror to door mirror, but they are trading tenths of seconds in the different sectors around the track.
Yeah, I've been watching it. I'm not sure. Noaker looks like he might be just trying to hold the gap, you know, because he ran a 15.1, then he backed up with a 16.4. He does have some lap traffic coming up, but he might just be trying to hold the gap and see if Anderson will catch him, and when he does, he tries to go a little bit quicker. But yeah, they're definitely trading laps here.
You know that I'm on the Ford UK website at the moment looking to see what Dark Horses are available.
In right-hand drive.
Oh, yes, of course, clearly. There's a
I'll tell you,
one.
I've done some right-hand drive. I did Aussie V8 Supercars.
Yeah, of course.
In Australia, obviously.
Yeah.
At Surfers Paradise in 2011, and I will say it's not easy, and that was even a sequential gearbox. It's not that easy to get your left hand to learn how to shift when you've been doing the right hand, you know, when you use your right hand all your life. So it took some time to get in there, and also Surfers Paradise is a street course, so you sit on the right side, and my left mirror, it was a lot more dangerous for my left mirror, let's put it that way, because of where I was sitting.
I can understand that. Well, you get used to it.
You get used to it pretty quick. I was surprised, and you know, I drove the Ruby Tuesday car back in the day, and that was basically right of center, kind of right-hand drive. So I've done some stuff, and you do surprisingly get it sorted out pretty quickly.
So under 12 minutes to go on a beautiful day here at Sebring International Raceway in the 2nd race of the season. Track temperature 66 Fahrenheit, 70 in the air. That's 21 Celsius in the air and 19 on the track for those of you outside of the USA. I've just found a metallic blue Mustang Dark Horse on the Ford website in the UK. So there we go. Nice light blue.
I'm sure there's somebody that can help you with that. Not me. I'm not the guy.
Well, I'll be making a phone call when we get back. It's phenomenal.
That one there, I do like that one.
That blue one, yeah. So Noaker holding that 3-second lead back to Anderson in 2nd place. Alex Bashira 3rd overall and leading the legends third in Dark Horse is Corbin Collins, but he's got the two Legends cars behind him. That's why the gap looks so big on the left-hand side of the screen between Anderson and Collins. It's nearly 30 seconds, but Collins has got the two Dark Horse Legends between him. Diaz and Bachura battling for that lead. Zach Lee, I said he would come forward. He has come forward in that silver car, and now up the third in the Legends. With just coming down to 10 minutes to go, what a season we've got for you in the second year of the Mustang Challenge with IMSA throughout the year, and a very special finale at the end of the season, which we'll tell you about through the year, give you some more details on that. Special venue for the end of season Night of Champions as well, which I'm very much looking forward to. I had a great time last year in Austin. We're moving the finale this year, and I say something a little bit different and something a little bit special. A bit of luck and a fair wind. I'm going to try and grab Joey to be sitting alongside me for that one, because it's something that you might like, I think. All right. So Noega still pounding away, 15-6 last time from Anderson's 15-7. The Dark Horse Legends battle through 15 and 16. Le Mans corner on the Ullman Straight. It's a decent little battle now going on between that bright silver number 48 car of Zachary Lee. Tate Prick right with him in the number 98 car. Now they're in different classes, but they are. Oh, big slide there for Colin Harrison with Doug Pedersen right in behind him. And in fact, actually, that's Chelsea.
Yeah.
Denofa. So Pedersen's just gone by that number 88 in this lap, because that's not the way they went across the line in front of us here in the Ford Performance Global Broadcast Centre. So Harrison losing the front end on that number 21 car, but he's obviously pushing along. What was his last lap time? He did a 17.4. Yeah, against
That's
Chelsea
right now.
with 19.8. Yeah,
it's a pretty good lap right now.
Yeah, right in the midfield.
Yeah.
Just under 8 minutes to go. Joey Hand, Le Mans winner with Ford in the Ford GT. If it's got a blue oval on it, Joey's probably driven it, raced it, thrashed it.
Yeah, I mean, some of that. Normally when I'm racing, I try not to thrash it.
No, indeed.
I've been involved like with the Ford GT street car late in the stages of before the street car was put out to production. You know, I got the call to see what it'll do. So I get to do a lot of that stuff.
Oh, that's take down the inside in the white Mustang liveried car with the Stallion on the side. That's the battle for 7th and 8th. Tate Pritt trying to go past our chrome silver car. Yeah, what about the Mark IV then? Have you had anything to do with that?
I had some driving of that a little bit. I did just one few lap run here, which was pretty cool, but not a ton. I've done more. I've been involved a little bit with the GTD, the new GTD Mustang, which is
still my beating heart.
Yeah.
That actually, I think on the road, you wouldn't have to accelerate past people. They would just stop and wave you by because it looks so menacing.
I'm guessing you could cause some problems on the road just from people taking pictures. I mean, I was driving around a few years ago. I was driving around a GT500 around Dearborn, and you'd be surprised how many people like drive up next to you when you're in a car in one of these Mustangs, and they want to see it, and they're like, gas it up, get some throttle, I want to hear it. A lot of people want to hear these cars, almost more than anything. But yeah, GTD is going to be one that's definitely going to be a head turner for anybody out there. You can go see it down at the Ford Performance booth down there, where all the Ford Performance cars are. It's the white with the red and blue stripes, which is cool looking.
There's a couple of nice Highland Grain cars down there, classic cars. There was an absolutely fantastic red convertible. I think probably a 64 or 65 with the option sport rims on it. Yeah, absolutely cherry, that guy, in every sense of the word. I mean, Mustang is an automotive icon. It's a world car, always has been a world car. In an era when there weren't such things, we didn't talk about world cars. When I used to travel when I was much younger, you'd look at some, you know, if you went to southern Spain or to Portugal, you'd see cars from major manufacturers that you didn't see in the UK. When I went to South America, you'd see, what's that? That's a Volkswagen, but it looks like a Suzuki or something like that. You know, but Mustang's always been a world car, and it's always had that fantastic personality, aided by, of course, Bullitt and Steve McQueen, with that tremendous run through the streets of California. Right, couple of laps ago, Alex Bashura. This is the lead of the race in Legends, and
Diaz
again,
still
good
pushing,
rallycross.
Pushing. I mean, we've seen that. That almost looks like a replay from earlier. But I mean, you got to give it to him. He is pushing, and he's still within striking distance.
Yeah, Alfonso. Now, Alfonso, I know you can't hear me, but when you're watching this back, I'm going to say, take the points. Take the points for second. Coulda, shoulda, woulda won yesterday. Wasn't your fault. We understand that. But for the championship, for the Legends Championship, that guy ahead of you, you're going to be racing him all season. So you're going to see plenty of the back of his car. You'll know his part number of that rear spoiler off by heart. And he'll be doing the same for you. A little bit of damage on the right front of that 15 car.
I like his style, though. I mean, he's got a little damage there. He's not letting it bother him. He's still hustling it. I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, the car's probably not perfect looking at that little bit of damage there. So, I mean, but he is not giving up. With 3 minutes to go, a couple laps, he's wheeling it, that's for sure.
Yeah, Stephen Verge has gone behind the wall in that number 10 car. We saw that struggling earlier on. A for effort, A plus for effort, definitely for Alfonso Diaz. I've got a feeling that our Dark Horse Legends battle is going to go all the way to the last couple of rounds. But what about Robert Noaker? 3 minutes to go. He'll probably, he'll get the white flag, I think, this time around for his last 3 3/4 miles. He's headed every free practice session, both pole positions, and you're going to feel for Devin Anderson, because Devin hasn't really done that much wrong.
Yeah, no, he hasn't. But interesting right there, he just had his hand out the window.
Getting hot.
It might be hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I used to do that in our cars, in the old GT cars, about 5, 6, 7 years ago. We didn't have a window, so you would, if you got warm, and I remember a lot of times getting warm, a lot of times in Mid-Ohio, a lot of times here, you would just put your hand out the window and trying to flex some air in there, and it looks like that is what he was doing.
3 seconds, the gap between first and second has become the last lap. White flag for our second race of the Mustang Challenge 2025. Joey Hand and John Hindorf. Well, this has been very interesting indeed. And you've got to say, oh, hello.
We got a race.
Alfonso's back again.
It's not over. I like this guy. He's going to the end.
He doesn't know the meaning of the word quit.
No, he doesn't.
Final lap for the Dark Horse Legends as well. Mustang Challenge Racing brought to you here at Sebring by Ford, built Ford proud. Down the inside into one. Just a little bit of an overlap. Oh, Bashura's going wide on the cutback. Now, Alfonso down the inside. Oh, he just couldn't hold his nose in there. And that's a big slam of the door by Alex Bashura. He did not leave a Mustang's width down the inside, and I think it was probably just as well, because Alfonso looked like he was going to send it. Turn 7, the next opportunity for that red, white and blue car. Once again in the dirt from Alfonso, and that's cost him a little bit of momentum. Yeah,
same thing. That same spot we've been seeing him off the carousel, turn 5 there. He's getting the throttle early, which gets him a good run, but it's also getting his tires dirty. He's still close. There's a lot of passing left. That's what's great about Sebring, is you can pass almost every corner.
Great exit run from turn 7 for the second place car, the blue fronted car. Now, stay tight, wait. Where's he going to? He's on the left-hand side. He's got the opportunity here. He's late on the brakes. Roll off the brakes on the inside, side by side through Cunningham corner. He's on the wrong side. Oh, brilliant driving by both of them. Bashura gets the power down, spins up the Michelin tyres, sideways drift king from Alfonso Diaz. Has he been taking lessons from Chelsea Denova through 13? This is not over yet. Noaker now by some 3.3 seconds to Devin Anderson at the head of the field. But this is the battle for the Dark Horse Legend. Swing to the left-hand side. There's an overlap again, but again, Bashura. You know, Bashura here is doing a great job because he's not driving in his mirrors. He's hitting his marks and he's just driving. He's not even that defensive at certain parts of the circuit. That might cost him. Here's the leader. Checkered flag. Noaker 2 for 2. And the fastest lap in class as well. But all of the action for the Dark Horse Legends, and this is for third place overall. Over and under move coming from Alfonso. He might have got a little bit too wide. Can he cut it back? He can't get it stopped, and he's blown his opportunity. He had a great run there, but you cannot fault him for effort. Bashura holds on with a brilliant display of driving under pressure. Alex Bashura cleans up with his second in the Legends. Diaz nets his first points of the year and gets a podium in Legends. Bashura, by the way, third overall. That was quality racing by those two Legends drivers.
That was. He really spiced up that last lap. You know, that's why you never give up. And we were talking about it. It looked like he had kind of calmed down and kind of trying to get his tires cooled down again. And I really believe that might have been what he's doing. I think maybe these guys are listening to us. I don't know. But, yeah, just overshot 17. He tried to stuff it down the outside there and got from all the GT3 stuff and all the 12-hour practice. There's a lot of rubber out there, and I think he got some on his tires.
Yeah, I think what he was looking to do was try and roll a bit more speed and then cut back to a late apex, take the centre of the corner late and try and out-drag to the line. You can't do that here. Seen that before. We've seen contact there as well, even in the big race. I seem to remember Ferrari and Porsche going side by side and my head exploding.
I did it to the line here, to the checkered flag also.
Yes, you did.
It's crazy. This racetrack, that's what I love about Sebring. It produces great racing. It's one of those tracks in this country that we have that it's not over. You can pass anywhere here.
There's just something right, Joy, about this venue, the personality of the crowd here. A nice, big American V8 muscle car that has its own history, like the Mustang. Mustang, Sebring, Turn 10 fans down in Green Park, party atmosphere. Match made in heaven for the first two rounds this year.
I do feel like it's a match made in heaven for sure. I totally agree with all that. I mean, you know, that, like I said, this is these cars have all the senses. They look good, they sound good, even the smells off of them are right, you know.
What about this man, Noaker? Robert Noaker runs his team as well, of course, and he's cleaned up this weekend.
I don't even know him, but I mean, I've learned a lot about him just sitting up here watching, and it's pretty impressive. I know he runs his own team. I know he is quick, and he hasn't put a wheel wrong in the 5 sessions I've watched.
Robert Noaker on the top step in the box again for the Dark Horse class. Devin Anderson will take home another second position. Corbin Collins third in that category, but finishes 5th overall because of that fabulous battle for the blue number plate cars. Alex Bashura ahead of Alfonso Diaz, and Zach Lee coming through the field to 7th and taking another podium. Top 10 also finishes in 6th for Sandy Satula. Tate Pritt got ahead of Colin Harrison, but couldn't get past Zachary Lee. They were having a good scrap as well for 7th and 8th. And rounding up the top 10, Doug Peterson for the Peterson Racing Group. Looking further down, it was another leery moment for Chelsea Denova, but the man with the sideways skills pulled it all back and still hasn't scratched the car. That's the most important thing. I'm delighted to see that Scott Thompson got to the line in one of our Ford Performance team featured team cars, the LAP machine. Joseph Dederick's, who had a pretty frustrating day yesterday, will get some points in 16th. Christian Pericarpi, another one of the LAP cars that we were featuring, sadly had to go behind the wall at turn 1. Tom Tate didn't really get started in that race after problems getting to the grid. Some final thoughts from you about the start of this season and what we're going to see for the rest of the year.
Well, like I said yesterday, I got a little bit sweaty up here. I got my heart rate up. So, I mean, that's a good sign because I mean, when it's all said and done, I always say it's about the show. And I think these guys put on a great show. So I was excited to watch. I mean, it's been fun up here with you. I always say I'm always impressed with what you do up here. But when I sit up here with you, it's even more impressive because it's definitely not easy. So
it's just talking, Joey. That's what people often say.
Yeah, well,
this play-by-play stuff.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of yours, and I know a lot of people down here love to hear your voice. So I'll be listening in when I'm not in the car for our 12-hour race.
Good luck with the rest of Gradient with Till and Tatiana in the Mobile One 12 hours. Joey Hand joining me this weekend for what has been an absolutely sensational start to the 2025 Ford Mustang Challenge here at Sebring. A match made in heaven, we said. It's history, it's heritage, and it's great entertainment. And Robert Noecker will take away the championship lead in the Dark Horse category. Alex Bashira leads the Legends. Bye for now.